I'm Tony Northup, and I just happen to have like all the different microphones that you can use with the Sony ZV-1 or many other Sony cameras without having to run a cable. You can connect these directly to the hot shoe of the camera, and for vlogging it makes it much easier and actually safer, because the odds of you dragging the camera down when the cable gets hooked on something are greatly reduced. So I wanted to test out the sound quality of each, so vloggers using this camera could decide, oh, should I use the stereo microphone or the boom microphone or a wireless lav? Right now I'm recording using only the on-camera mic, which I don't think is ideal for audio quality, but I happen to be in my own studio where we have acoustic padding and there's no ambient noise, like no humming or anything, so the sound quality here is going to be better than in a typical room. This is my setup with the Sony ZV-1 and whichever microphone I'm testing, just so you can kind of understand the distance that I'm at. It's about as close as I can get with this camera. Of course, if it had a wider angle lens, I could get closer and that would actually improve the audio quality. This is the Sony ECM GZ1M. I think it's the only true shotgun mic that will work on the Sony. Sony makes a higher end shotgun mic, but this one does not work on the ZV-1. It will work on like an A9 or an A7R4, I should say an A9 Mark II. But my understanding is that the ZV-1 does not support digital mics, and even in analog mode, this one apparently requires more power than the ZV-1 is capable of putting out. This is Sony's stereo microphone. It'll move from side to side, and if you're wearing headphones, maybe you can hear a little bit of a difference. It's probably what you'd use in concerts and stuff. This is Sony's wireless lav system, and the nice part about this is I can change the distance, I can turn around completely, and the audio quality really shouldn't change at all. I always keep a wireless lav with me in case I need to walk away from the camera, so it's nice that Sony makes one that I can attach without wires. So far what you've heard probably isn't a realistic representation of what most vloggers will hear, since we are in a sound studio. Let's go upstairs to my echoey, noisy kitchen and see how each of these sound. So I'm doing this in my kitchen because it's a very big and kind of echoey room, and it's also got that awful kind of hummy ambient noise from things like the refrigerator. So it'll help us understand how much of that background noise is picked up by the microphones. It can really depend on how directional the microphones are. This first test is done with the on-camera mic on the Sony ZV-1. This is the Sony ECM GZ1M, a shotgun microphone that should move the microphone physically closer to my face, which might reduce the amount of ambient noise that you hear. This is Sony's stereo shotgun microphone. It's the XTST. I literally can't remember the names for just a few seconds. They're so confusing. I think if I were to move over here and then move over here, you might be able to hear a difference, though looking at the levels, I don't know that there is a huge amount of difference. But this is the mic that you might want to use for things like concerts, or maybe just run and gun where you really want to capture that ambient sound. This is Sony's lavalier mic. And I suspect in this room it's going to sound the best, because I've tested the different lav mics in here and they definitely sound better than shotgun mics. One big advantage of this is it's not going to change the audio depending on where I am. So I can stand up and walk away and you can see the audio stays exactly the same because the proximity stays the same. It's attached to me instead of being attached to the camera. So that gives you a lot more flexibility. It means you can step away from the camera a little bit, and even though I might use a shotgun mic for convenience in many scenarios, I pretty much always have a lavalier mic for me because the difference in quality is really noticeable. Note that the ZV-1 only works with Sony's single channel wireless lavalier receiver. I also have Sony's dual channel receiver and it does not seem to be compatible with it. I plug it in and it does nothing at all. We have this because it allows us to pick up two separate microphones, so both Chelsea and I can each wear mics and split them between left and right channels on the receiving camera. Can't do this. It's going to be like a one-person lav situation. I just listened to that with headphones on, so let me share my own thoughts. First of all, the room made a bigger difference than any of the mics. If you can lay down some carpeting and turn off any fans and motors in your room, that's really going to help your sound. The sound quality here is going to be better than in a typical room. So I'm doing this in my kitchen because it's a very big and kind of echoey room, and it's also got that awful kind of hummy ambient noise.
My second experience was that I was shocked with how good the on-camera mic on the ZV-1 is. To me, that means if I'm just traveling really light, I can throw this in a bag and not worry about a mic and probably still get good enough sound, especially in a quiet room or maybe outdoors in nature. Third, comparing the on-camera mic to the shotgun mic was better. It was richer.
Right now I'm recording using only the on-camera mic. This is the Sony ZV-1M.
Both the on-camera mic and the shotgun mic sounded pretty bad in my big echoey room with ambient noise, and that's when a lav mic really sounded better.
This first test is done with the on-camera mic on the Sony ZV-1. This is the Sony GZ1M. This is Sony's lavalier mic, and I suspect in this room it's going to sound the best.
I'm going to do more testing of lav mics because I want to check out the smaller lav mics like the Rode Go. And I have a lav mic that I love that just records directly to an SD card on your body, so you don't have to hook anything up to the camera. That means it works with your GoPro or your drone or your smartphone. I'm going to compare all of those in an upcoming video. So if you really want to get the best lav mic sound, hit subscribe and the notification bell to see that. The Sony stereo mic really didn't impress me much, but if you do need to record and you want that sort of stereo surround feel, then I guess it's the right mic for you. Hope this has helped you out. Let me know in the comments down below which of the mics you thought sounded best and maybe what you're doing to get better sound for your own videos. Thanks, bye.